This is a 2010 Toyota Sequoia with limited with the rear seat entertainment system. And as you can see, this is pretty typical right here, damage to the headphone system. So pretty much everybody eventually loses the knobs that go on these pieces. A typical repair, which I did already once, is to put some guitar amp knobs on there, which does look pretty cool. But what happens is your backseat buddies eventually step on them and break the whole thing off. So what I'm going to try and do here is I have gotten a whole new volume assembly from a Toyota, I believe it's a Sienna minivan, which I believe is an identical part. If you look for your part on a, if you look up your Sequoia, you're going to find a part that's $160, something like that. These are substantially cheaper. I'll post the part numbers. So first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take our trim tool pry bars and we're going to pop off this whole assembly and hopefully remove them. What you're going to find is that if you just remove this guy, that the wire is actually, you'll see when you get the part, it has a clip that locks it into place. So you can't just pop those out and replace them. You do have to remove the face. So I'm going to start my way working around this edge with the trim removal tool and hopefully not break anything. Okay, so first thing I did was I slid the forward part of the armrest forward and I got my trim removal tool under here, popped off a couple of these things and just pulled it back. You can see we've got our HVAC vents, and then right here you can see our plugs. So I'm just gonna unclip those and I'm gonna start in with our Sienna parts. Okay, so here's the back side of the driver's side headphone mount. We're just gonna take a little screwdriver in here and we can release that. This one on the passenger side is exactly the same, no problem. Okay, these pieces are super fiddly to remove. You can just take a very small screwdriver and wedge it in on the top and the bottom, kind of pry back and forth, and it will pop out, no problem, eventually. Fiddly, sucks. Okay, so what I'm finding is that this retaining bracket is different on the Sequoia piece. You can see the Sequoia has these like 4 notches. The Sienna piece does not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap this little external piece from the Sequoia bit to the Sienna bit, and hopefully we'll be good to go. All right, so there we go. That's 100% back to factory stock awesomeness, using Sienna left and right volume control knobs for the rear seat entertainment. They do this cool thing. You just got to keep your backseat little buddies from kicking those things again. But a lot cheaper than using the Sequoia parts, and I would say could never tell it was taken apart. Okay, don't do it yet. All right, so this is the Sequoia innards in the Sienna outards, and this part is the only thing I can find that's different than on the Sienna part than on the Sequoia part, except for the basically like $100 difference in price. So the trick to removing these is they pop out through the front. You take your handy dandy Craftsman teeny screwdriver. You probably got this from your grandfather. Anyway, so you stick it in here, You press those two tabs down. Oh, whoops, I'm sorry, I'm upside down. You press this tab down with a little bit of pressure on the back, and it will just pop out through the front, and you can remove it like so. So this, again, this one is from the Sienna, and this is the original part from the Sequoia. They're easy to figure out because they have this little diagonal piece, so you can't put it in wrong because it has the same matching diagonal keyway. So there you go. You got your well over $100 Sequoia piece replaced with a $20-ish Sienna piece. Here are the part numbers. There is a left and a right switch. I have not looked them up. That is labeled. I always use ToyotaPartsDeal.com. They are clearly labeled which one is the left and the right on their site. They're one of my favorite online Toyota vendors. Makes everything very easy, but I don't think it matters. If you have left and right, they just look cooler. If you want to have your volume knobs on interior or exterior of the center console. There you go.